Hey guys, thanks for joining me. So in today's video, I want to go through a 5-step way of how to start calisthenics for beginners. I want to break this down into little sections. So for any of you who are looking to get into calisthenics, don't get bogged down, don't get sort of overwhelmed with too much information, but have a sort of a step-by-step where you can master each bit, use each process, so you guys can make learning and progressing with calisthenics far easier and most importantly, more successful. Let's jump straight into that list. So the first point or step that I want to go through, and this is something that isn't often talked about in other videos or other people's programs, is we need to identify what your skill and strength level is. Until we understand what that is and have a good understanding of that, how do we prescribe, how do you work out what exercises you should focus on? Someone who is a complete beginner, never worked out before but wants to get into calisthenics is going to have a different set of exercises or different principles of how to get into it than someone that may have never done calisthenics before. However, they've got a weightlifting background. Maybe they've been going to the gym for a while. Maybe they have a good understanding on that mind-muscle connection, have a good base level of strength and hypertrophy. Those two people, the way that we come into calisthenics is going to be different. The exercises that we use are going to be different. So my recommendation for you is to take your typical calisthenics exercises, whether it's a pull-up, whether it's a row, and variations of those exercises to push-up, your dip, your squat, your lunge, your plank, all of these different exercises, even something as simple as a bar hang. Take time to kind of work out where you are strength-wise. How many push-ups can you do? How many inverted rows can you do? How many squats or lunges you can do? What is your current strength and skill level? Once you work out that, you can determine what exercises you're going to do and what variations of them you're able to do that's going to maximize your ability to be able to, say, build muscle or to get stronger. We need to know where you are starting at so we can work out where you're going to go. So step 2 that we're going to be looking at is, what are your goals? Typical goals tend to be, I want to increase my strength, I want to increase maybe hypertrophy, I just want to get fitter, I want to get healthier. What's very, very common within calisthenics and what draws a lot of people towards calisthenics is skills. Regardless of whatever your goal is, we still need to make sure that there is balance within there. If you're focused on trying to learn the pull-up and master the pull-up, we don't want to neglect areas like maybe your pushing area, or what's very, very common, especially when people are focusing on skills, is their leg development. The other thing we want to remember is that while doing calisthenics, we can even use it to do it, but ideally we want to combine it. We don't want to sort of neglect areas sort of like our cardio, such as our flexibility or mobility. So whatever your goal is, and this is something this is very, very common. Some people come into training and have no idea what their goal is going to be. You can start training and you can develop a goal while you're training. It could just be, I just want to get into calisthenics, I just want to get healthier, I want to get fitter, maybe build a little bit of muscle, but I just want to start getting more active and I like the idea of calisthenics. It's absolutely fine. We can work on building a good foundation for you with sort of key fundamental exercises, and as you start training and as you start developing yourself, goals might come in, whether it's more of a focus on strength to hypertrophy to maybe down the line you might focus on skills. Goals can come later on, but just starting is probably one of the best things you can do. However, whatever you do and whatever your goal is, try and focus on creating that balance so you can build an all-round body. So step 3 is, what equipment do you have, and also what equipment would I recommend? So I know there's many of you out there that have no equipment. The amount of videos on YouTube on calisthenics workouts, no equipment. Back workouts with no equipment. And I understand there's gonna be some people that are struggling financially or being able to get to a gym. They need to have those workouts for no equipment. And I know there are plenty of alternatives where, let's say if you wanna do a back exercise, you can hold on to 2 chairs or maybe put a broom across 2 chairs or go underneath a table. However, the issue with these is many people are gonna be probably more focused on the safety, whether the chairs are wobbling, how safe the table is to be able to hold their weight. They're not gonna be able to fully concentrate on the exercise itself. And if you wanna master exercises, really learn how to create tension and maintain it, you need full concentration. You don't want to be worrying about the safety of your apparatus. When it comes to stuff like your push-ups, handstand push-ups, dips, squats, lunges, those exercises, those muscle groups aren't as dependent on equipment. However, when it comes to calisthenics, the equipment requirement is less. However, the ones that you do need tend to be back focused. Whether you want to do inverted rows, whether you want to do pull-ups, you need equipment to do it. So however you are able to do it, equipment is going to make your training when it comes to calisthenics is going to be very, very important, specifically if you want to get into your back exercises like your pull-ups and your rows. I highly recommend a door frame pull-up bar or a set of gymnastic rings. With just those two, you can create a home gym. If you can't afford it, or maybe you can't put a door frame pull-up bar due to maybe you're worried about a damage, I do recommend a dynamic door frame pull-up bar. There will be a review of that down below or at the end of the video if you want something that's a safe way of using a door frame pull-up bar, and they also have a set of gymnastic rings with them as well. If you don't have that, but you've got somewhere safe to set up, you cannot go wrong with a set of gymnastic rings. But either or both bits of equipment shouldn't cost you more than $20 or $30 or pounds, and sometimes you can even get them cheaper if you find them secondhand. So I know there's gonna be some people that want to look for an equipment-free version of getting into calisthenics. I know a big bonus of calisthenics is that you can do it equipment-free. When it comes to pull-ups and your inverted rows, it's going to be best to be able to have access to equipment if you want to maximize your back training and how far you go with calisthenics. So step 4 is what rep range should you focus on? So what is quite common for people getting into calisthenics, whether they have a strength background or they want to use calisthenics as a way of doing strength training, or that is their goal to get into it, they focus on high intensity work, low reps, so 1 to 5 reps, and I can understand the reasoning behind it. However, if you're a beginner and you're new to any of these exercises, it's a bad thing to get into, because if you're trying to learn a new exercise, you're not going to be very good at it. And if you're taking on loads that you're not capable of using while maintaining good form, it's going to do is make it so that you have poor movement patterns, ingrained poor movement patterns, and therefore that can lead to injury. What we want to do is we want to pick lower intensity work, higher rep. Something like 3 sets of 10 is a great place to start, because repetition is the mother of all learning. The more we do something, the better we get. So if we're able to maybe do sets of 10 or sets of 12, it allows us to get that repetition in, to be able to fine tune that form, to allow our mind, our central nervous system and our muscles to synchronize. We need to give it time. We need to get that repetition in to be able to learn it. With the lower intensity as well, it makes it easier to really focus on that mind-muscle connection. It can really help us to focus on still having tension and creating that tension without overloading the muscles, but we're able to fine-tune that form, whether it's stuff like doing the inverted row and really focusing on that scapular control, what's going on with the arms, what's going on with the elbows, all these different things. We can do that with the lower intensity, and with the higher rep ranges, it allows us to fine-tune that form. So if you're getting into calisthenics and you're a beginner, something like 3 sets of 10 per exercise is a great place to start. So at number 5, we're talking about managing your recovery. And this is what probably a lot of beginners completely underestimate when it comes to training. Remember, you don't build muscle or get stronger, get fitter when you're working out, it's when you recover. And if you don't manage your recovery, if you don't listen to your body, it's just going to lead to a decrease in performance. It's going to inhibit your energy levels. It's going to more likely lead to a plateau and possibly an injury. These are all massive things that can impact your ability to progress in any fitness pursuit, especially with calisthenics. So you need to learn to listen to your body. What often happens is people will look up different workout programs, whether it's on YouTube, whether it's just on Google, and they'll find a workout program which a lot of the time isn't specific to them. It's a generic workout program, whether they do 3 or 4 different exercises per body part, whether they're doing 10, 15, 20 sets of volume per body part, and they just chuck it on people. They know that volume drives hypertrophy, so if people do enough volume, they'll build muscle, and people will think, oh, this program's brilliant. The problem is, as a beginner, your work capacity sucks. Your body's ability to be able to handle this volume, this intensity, how often you're working out probably sucks because you're not used to it. How often, if you think about it in your day-to-day life, are you actively using your upper body? How often are you really picking up stuff, pressing stuff above your head, pulling your own body weight with your back muscles? Most people, it's virtually non-existent. So if you're now jumping into a workout where you're doing lots and lots of sets of push-ups, inverted rows, step-ups, handstand push, all of these different things, your body is not used to it. So as a beginner, to help manage your recovery, my idea to you is to start off small and simple. Don't take on too much volume. Don't take on too many exercises. Don't do it too often. You need to build up that work capacity. You need to build up that ability to recover over time. Don't start off too quickly by doing loads, because all you're going to do is you're going to burn yourself out. You possibly lead to an injury, or you don't know where to progress next. So I always say, start off small. Maybe start off as a minimalist style program, whether it's an inverted row for a back exercise, whether it's a push-up for a pushing exercise, a step-up or a squat for a leg. Do that maybe twice a week. See how you go. Maybe start with just 3 sets per exercise. 3 sets is enough to be able to stimulate growth, and 3 sets is enough that you can maintain intensity throughout, where if you do more, sometimes your intensity mentally and physically can start to taper off. you might get bored, you might lose that intensity. Focus on 3 sets can be very, very efficient, especially 3 sets of 10. There's still 30 reps you're going to be doing there, especially if you do maybe a few warm-up ones to get yourself there. This is a great place to start. As you get better, as your recovery gets better, you can easily increase the number of sets to maybe working out more often, from 2 times a week to possibly 3 times a week. As your body gets used to dealing with this load, this intensity, this volume, your work capacity, your ability to recover will also improve, so you can take on more work. And as you take on more work, take on more intensity, more load, more volume, your body will slowly adapt to deal with that. So my advice is, when it comes to recovery, listen to your body. Make sure that you're getting good nutrition. Make sure you're drinking plenty. Make sure that you're sleeping enough. Make sure you listen to your body if it feels like it's achy and it's tired. Don't feel like you have to work out because a program says you do. If you need an extra day, take an extra day. There's no rush. Manage your recovery and it will lead to more gains when it comes to your calisthenics. If you want more information on anything to do with calisthenics, to learning how to do a pull-up, to myofibrosis and sarcoplasmic hypertrophy, anything of a beginner's workout, then check out these videos here, and I'll see you guys in the next one.